Welcome back to another episode of Free the Plant, Free the People, presented by BluRok Farms. And you know we have another great episode for you today. I'm your host, LeVar Eady, and let's talk about today's guest. And today's episode is going to be Cannabis with StrainDamage Worldwide. What's up, guys?
Woo! What's going on?
Thanks for having us, my bro.
No problem, bro. No problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you having us.
It's a long reach.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
No, but one, I want to say thank you guys for coming. And before we get into you guys' background and information, I want to just introduce the audience into how we all met, first of all. So there was an event at Urban Oasis where they were discussing data, and they had a data scientist there that wanted to discuss the information that they thought especially small businesses would want that would be useful to helping them make decisions to propel their businesses forward and to make it profitable and sustainable. And these two guys were there. And so after the conversation with the data scientist and the plug NM, we introduced each other, we exchanged cards, and we both found out that we did podcasts, so we were like, let's link up. And so here we are. So now that we kind of understand how like our introduction met, let's fill the audience in on how you guys meet and how did StrainDamage Worldwide make it?
So basically, when I started StrainDamage Worldwide, it was just like interviewing the homies around town that were doing dope shit while smoking.
Gotcha.
One of them being Notorious T, the first episode, right? And then a little bit passed down the line, I linked up with Raj and DBG, and we decided to like take it seriously. You know what I mean? So at first it was just cool, you know. I was just doing something to kill time, you know what I mean? But then it turned into something where we're all booking guests from around the state, big talent, big names. You know what I mean? Like
That's awesome.
it's been a big trip right now. You know what I mean? A real good fun trip.
Wow, that's awesome.
For sure.
Turned it from a hobby into an actual career and a career path.
Right. Yeah, when we met, he told me about what he was doing with that. You know, like I was like looking it up, and I saw Dizzy Wright in there too, and I was like, oh shit, that's actually a big name. He's, you know, this is kind of like a mini No Jumper in New Mexico, and you know, I just my brain just kind of exploded with thoughts of this is how we blow it up. This is how the New Mexico cannabis industry takes national prominence, because I'll tell you, as somebody who's lived out of state, I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, lived East Coast, West Coast, Texas. Honestly, New Mexico has some of the best shit I've ever tried. Both flower and live rosin, comparable with California and Colorado and Oregon, beats the shit out of anything in Nevada. So you know, I just when I kind of learned about StrainDamage, my brain kind of exploded with business thoughts, and I was like, all right, I want in. Let's blow this up.
The entrepreneur and you emerged. To touch in real quick, because you brought up Dizzy Wright, which that's crazy that I have also connection with Dizzy Wright. Is like I did interview him with him for my podcast, Stay Woke podcast a while ago, and then I wrote an article about I forgot what album it is now, but one of his albums that it touched on his life and then also on social impact and racial causes at the same time, and I thought it was an interesting play. And it fit in with certain things that were happening socially in the world at the time. So I just wanted to bring that up, that was an interesting connection.
And that's just how I, like, when I started StrainDamage, it was like, whoever I bump into that smokes bud doing something cool, I'm going to interview him, right? So I bumped into Dizzy Wright at the jam spot, and I was just asking him, like, can I interview you about blunts? You know what I mean? And we're just like, let's talk about what kind of blunt you like now opposed to then, blah, blah, blah. It was only like a 3-4 minute interview, but it was still fun, you know what I mean? But then after I was approached by Raj and DBG, we were like, let's literally turn this into something bigger, you know what I mean? And by the graces of Raj and his footwork and DBG and his footwork and his social media presence, etc., we were able to start excelling in a way that I never thought was possible. You know what I mean? Like I was doing it as a hobby, and now it's turning into a real full-time job for all three of us. You know what I'm saying? So it's really fun to see how it came from that. And And before then, I was over here at 519 with Mark and Josh, and we're doing the Southwest 16, Buck and Sean Dean, and Shut Up and Talk when they were doing it here. You know what I mean? So like,
it's a full circle, yeah.
Yeah. So like some of the sequences that we used here, the 5-minute warning and this and that, I incorporated stuff like that into StrainDamage and give them a 5-minute warning as well. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's been fun just to be able to incorporate everything that I've learned along the way, and that Raj has learned along the way, and DBG's learned along the way, to see where we're at now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What about you? How did you kind of come in, and how do you feel about the growth that the company and the movement is happening?
So for sure, I feel like it's definitely taking like a storm for sure. Like everybody's rocking with it. Like I got finally the homies that I thought would never like really even be watching podcasts.
That's what's
telling
up.
me like, hey, I watched the podcast that just dropped today. That shit was fire.
Okay,
And
gotcha.
I'm like, hey, people actually really tapping in. And my boy Vile hit me up and he was like, hey, I feel like if y'all come get on the podcast, we could really like make shit happen. You know what I mean? And I was really just more on the like marketing side right now, just trying to get stuff pushed out, say as an artist, you know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, on the music tip, I'm just trying to get stuff popping. Like
Gotcha. No.
TikTok, Instagram, all that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, YouTube, I've always wanted to do it though. Like I've always watched like more or less like weed YouTubers where they just be like, oh, we went to the new dispensary that opened, we're gonna try this strain, and I'm like, stuff like that just always seemed interesting to me.
Awesome. Okay.
So I'm like, might as well just add some kind of entertainment to New Mexico in a sense, because like there's a lot of cool people doing stuff here. Like he said, there's a lot of fire here. Like some of the best products that I've ever tried in my life. We have people in the extract game killing it, rosin wise. Like we have a lot of people that just need like a little bit of light shed on what they're doing. And I want it to be more of like an attraction, like Albuquerque, you know what I mean? Where people are like, hey, we could go over there and they have like fire shit, they have this, they have the cool events going on, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, expand it and show what New Mexico and Albuquerque really has to offer the world that people might be missing out on.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotcha. No, I think that's really exciting, and I think like because again, I was born here in Albuquerque, but I grew up in California, so I feel like I have a mixed perspective of it because of having those two vantage points. Is I do see leaving and coming back. I do see that New Mexico is very big on local, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that is a good thing to be prideful in the local scene and the local people. So you guys doing that, I think, is going to really serve this space and this market because that's what I see people wanting.
Yeah.
So, and you're kind of feeling that need of what supply and demand. There's a demand of people wanting to support local, and just not always having the avenue of being able to see where it is. And you guys are identifying that for them, and giving those people the same avenue to express and let people know about their products. I think, which is amazing. So yeah.
It's cool too, the people we've been working with for sure. It's something where it's just like the stepping stones are getting started here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, of course, but we're ready to take it. Like that's why we got the worldwide in the name. We have a lot of people tapping in from like different parts. Let's say the United States, worldwide, Eastern Europe.
The YouTube analytics show Bulgaria and Poland as countries that watch it.
So we
two countries where it's decriminalized, but not fully illegal. Interestingly,
so it's catching on. You know what I mean? So that's all it takes is like the speck of it, and then it starts to, do its thing.
I think that's important that you guys are monitoring taking in that data. And it speaks to why you guys were at the meeting with the data scientists, is because you see the value in it. And that's one thing that my company, BluRok Farms, and the podcast, Free the Plant, Free the People, we want to express, especially the minority and black and brown owned entrepreneurs and company owners, is don't be afraid of the data. Use the data to your advantage. Take that data, because all of it can be useful, and determining how to use it for yourselves. You having that information lets you know if you did want to do something over on the European side. There's tons of countries in Europe to pick from. You have an idea to say, okay, we know these two markets at least mess with us. If we're going to do a test run out there, let's see what these markets are doing, because they already show an interest in what we're doing, and then we can kind of build off of that. And a lot of people aren't, I'm not saying a lot of people aren't thinking that way, but I don't think a lot of people are using how much data is available to us
For sure.
to be able to make those kind of decisions.
No, I think that's what informs the growth plan. As DBG says, Albuquerque is the stepping stone for something larger, right? At the same time, we've been not only doing video advertising and social media content creation work around the state, not just Albuquerque, Santa Fe, Roswell, kind of all over, but now the next thing is the region, right? The way I see it is that the Southwest, in terms of anything polarizing, in terms of brands, in terms of companies, there is a little bit of a vacuum there in that, you know, there's major brands like Cookies, Stizzy, this, that, California, Oregon, Nevada, Colorado, they all have these.
The MSOs, yeah.
The MSOs. And there is an opportunity, not only are there opportunities for New Mexico companies to be MSOs, but I also think that this is something that will have general appeal. You know, we've marketed this to friends and family in Colorado, and they love the show. They've started watching along every weekend. We're grateful for that. And what I've noticed in Arizona is positive reception to the show. Arizona has a little bit less of, say, a cannabis culture. In terms of, you know, dispo owners just started smoking 2 weeks ago. They got into it for the money.
But yeah, I mean, which is interesting because they were legal before us. So
yeah, that's also interesting.
They have gas out there.
They do. But they don't have as much of a true robust traditional market that still exists.
Like saying they just started off as recreational legal instead of having the years behind it traditional.
I mean, they had medical before, but there's no real community around it or culture around it.
Before then, you couldn't even drive through Arizona with like a cart or a gram of weed without being sent to a prison. Right?
No, they've come a long way, but there's still a vacuum there. So, you know, beyond statewide, now our goal is to really regionally establish ourselves, and then you know, just kind of take it on the road, start popping around.
I feel like entertainment is like the main avenue too. Like it's just like literally give something like. In Albuquerque, we don't have nothing. You know what I mean? Like no one here has anything they could really look forward to that's local. Say as far as the entertainment aspect. Say like I know there's a lot of stuff going on. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like not often. You know what I mean?
Not as frequent as as.
Nobody's consistent.
And it's literally like as long as we could get YouTube popping, like people could see that every day. There's new content for them. Different people. It's just like really cool to see too how many people here have like those big plans as well. Like how he was saying, a lot of these companies have appeal way further than just New Mexico. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that makes sense. And let's talk about that expansion of a little bit. You trying to get out and expand out of the New Mexico market to other territories. You were talking about Arizona having a vacuum. What I would say in regards to that is, what would you say, or not necessarily what would you say, but what is your opinion on Texas versus Arizona? Because Texas to me seems like it has a more robust cannabis interest market of awareness, but higher legality. Like they're going to be it's going to take a while before.
They need to get something going in Texas.
It's going to be, I think they're going to be one of the last states to do it.
No, that's fair.
It's not fair to the people though, literally though. Because there's a lot of people.
But the demand's there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a group of people in Texas that really are like.
So I was just wondering.
Yeah.
There was even rappers that got arrested for growing back, like Paul Wall, and
you
know what I mean,
yeah.
like that were in Texas. So like they were trying to, they were trying to start like a cannabis culture out there, but kept getting oppressed.
There is opportunity.
Make it seem like a drug.
Yeah. No, there is opportunity for Texas, and I suppose that's part of it. But we also want to put ourselves in communities where we can pull up and do pop-up events.
Gotcha. So
right.
that made that decision as a factor. That makes sense.
Yeah. So we're fully open to doing that. You know, Houston, from what I understand, does have a good, nice little underground scene. But we do want to focus on areas where we can pull up and do community events as well.
Because at the end of the day, we're a media company, you know what I mean? So we're trying to just put media out there, whether it's segments of strain wars, or this is your brain on buds, or whatever it may be down the line. You know what I'm saying? But like Raj said, we just want to be able to pull up, show out, get lit, and record some shit. You know what I mean? And really just have a good time and give the cannabis culture what it deserves to see.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. So let's talk about the marketing and advertising part of StrainDamage Worldwide and where you're going with that, because I think that's very interesting, because I do, especially how you're talking about the vacuum in Arizona, I do see a vacuum for marketing and advertising in the cannabis space because of the issues in regards to compliance, how compliance is different in each state in regards to advertising. So can you touch on that a little bit and where you guys are going with that? Because again, I think that's a great idea, and that's a place that, like I said, people really aren't focusing on when they think about cannabis companies.
So from the media aspect, right? Like I try not to get anybody like super getting medicated, right? I try to focus more, like when we do recaps or whatever, I focus more on the people having a good time rather than everybody smoking and getting super thrashed or whatever, because at the end of the day that could cause problems for any company that's involved in any kind of event.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So I noticed that Cookies, when they had their event, they had multiple people that got in trouble and cited because they were smoking and or drinking and or inviting underage buyers onto the property. So like there's just a bunch of things
I
that
feel like that aspect though is way different compared to like as far as like marketing,
right.
like on Instagram and shit.
Right.
Like, you can't put nothing. Like I swear, like
and that's why I try to keep
all
that
of
out.
our stuff, all of our stuff gets flagged like immediately. Like if it has like anything that like just shows marijuana, it's like flagged. Like if you're trying to sell something.
Yeah.
Even like 30 seconds into our episode, we try not to even spark up a blunt or whatever, or a dab or whatever.
Mention any cannabis related
So
words.
yeah, that's what it comes
like,
to. We have to do stuff like that. Just make sure that we don't mention certain
and then
words.
when we
algorithm.
post clips on Instagram, kind of, you know, like manually editing the captions and stuff.
Even taking like the word weed out and like replacing it with like a little leaf or something.
W33D.
W3.
That's when I do the C4 cannabis spelt with a 4 and an at symbol.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. So like we're just trying to be innovative and creative in ways to get past that and still get the content out to people without getting flagged and all that. For sure.
Yeah, in terms of the work we're doing, that's relatively been short form content, kind of, you know, quick commercials and ads. We've done stuff for Prohibition 37, the People's Ecosystem, 1111 Medications.
Okay. Melanie.
Yeah, Melanie and
She's
all
our
that.
homegirl. Shout out to
Yeah,
Mel.
shout out Melanie
Shout out
Davis.
OG.
Melanie Davis.
Gotcha,
Yeah, so we've done that, and now we're also kind of seeing an opportunity to either do more long form content, either series or documentaries that basically tell stories, right? And that I feel like is the key. You know, here in New Mexico, right, we have a very saturated market, right? And the way I'm seeing people stand out, other than just having superior product, right? Because I mean, if your shit is gas, it sells itself.
Yeah.
But also through visual, ornate graphic and visual design, as well as having either like sort of a theme behind your brand. You know, for example, Green Fuego does this really well. They do social media content very well, and obviously, you know, this character of Sandy that Steven Sanderson plays, you know, as an example of making your brand a little bit larger than life, you know, like you're not just a dispensary, you are this.
Giving it a personality on its own.
Exactly, and I do feel like that's the key to standing out. That's the key to customer retention in this type of crowded market where the prices are raced to the bottom. So that's what we're really trying to do. We're trying to tell the stories of people and brands, not only in the you know, service-based work we do, right, but also in our internal content creation.
Awesome.
Did you say the prices are like a race to the bottom?
Yeah.
I feel like that's really true, because even the homies showed me like a half ounce he got yesterday from the dispensary, and it was like $40, and I swear that shit was fire. Like dummy fire. And I'm like,
that's
why?
because of the oversaturated market.
That's what I'm like.
They have to get rid of it. So
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, That's a ridiculous though.
But yeah, that is interesting that you brought up, and it's important to know, especially like we like to give tidbits out for those out there that are, like I said, small business owners that are trying to beat these large companies or stay in the market, especially black and brown owned companies, is thinking about your marketing and branding, as you stated, and you kept on saying, is storytelling. Mm-hmm. That's important, is creating a story. We have, like Disney, regardless of, there's multiple stories that can be told about Disney, but it's your emotional attachment to it. You create your own story with that brand. Mm-hmm. With Nike, Jordan, all of them, we have our own stories that we create based off of the marketing storytelling that they provided for us. So it's smart that you're thinking about it that way, and it's just a way that I'm advising companies out there to think about your marketing and branding like that. And if you don't have the time or the capacity to do that, talk to these guys. You know what I'm saying? That's how you, so that you can, again, you're creating that ecosystem, because BluRok Farm, that's our main objective. Our key for success is how many businesses we can help to be successful, profitable, and sustainable, especially that are minority owned, women owned, BIPOC owned. And we believe by creating an ecosystem of, I'm a cultivator, you're a manufacturer, you're a marketing team, you're an advertising company, but we all help each other so that we can stay into the market.
And to touch on that, like we
That's
actually,
what these big states are doing.
we had we had a business meeting this week with I could say the name, right? With Sacred Soul Farms, right? And what we want to do with them is we want to do an exclusive flower drop through them, powered by StrainDamage, just to put the logo on there so we can get it out there as like something we would approve as really good flowers, small batch stuff, to get like name on that farm, right? Mm-hmm. And he's local. He's out there in Socorro, super killing fire. It. Yeah, he's killing the rosin game and the flower game as well. You know what I mean? And so
I follow them on Instagram
with stuff like that. Like and we're open to doing that with anybody. Like we're not the type of people like, oh, we got this. Like speed behind us, right? And like this push and this drive behind us, we got to use it to channel it to other people that we know that need a little bit of more, shine the light on them, you know what I mean? Yeah. Get their brand out there a little bit more, and that way we can say like, StrainDamage approves this flower, this rosin, definitely go buy that shit. You know what I mean? Like, buy it out.
and it's a great relationship that you're creating with these growers, these farms, these businesses, is because as long as you're staying true to really how you feel about it, then it adds to the value of, if we say this, we mean it. Mm-hmm. One, so it puts some validity behind your word, but not only that, it provides validity for these companies of saying, well, every time they've had this sticker on whatever company it is, doesn't matter who, it was fire.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So even if I didn't see them try this, if I see it on a bag for Sacred Soul Farms, I'm gonna mess with it, because now it gives them validity too. So it works kind of, it's an ecosystem.
And it's spreading the love within the ecosystem.
Exactly.
That's what we're all about.
You're sharing love for them, and they're sharing love for you back, and it's again a reciprocal, as long as you both are being true to the true intention of what you guys are doing. And I think that's great, and I think that's amazing. And that is something that this space doesn't have. And it's also similar to what they're doing in California. I would say it's similar, but it's not quite the same. In California, they have a group or a network called the Equity Trade Network with Nina Parker, Ramon Garcia, I believe Chaney Turner is on there as well, and Chelsea, I can't think of her last name right now. Sorry, Chelsea. But basically, it's a sign that if it's on a packaging, and it can be verified like with the QR code and everything like that, but it's a stamp saying that this is equity owned. This is somebody that either has been affected by the war on drugs, minority owned, low, like the underserved that really needs the most opportunity, especially in this space. Mm-hmm. The chance for you as a consumer to automatically see that and be like, okay, if I want to support these causes, just like with the GMO or vegetarian or vegan, if you're a vegan, that's the first thing you're looking for when you go to the store. Mm-hmm. For me, I would love to have that here in New Mexico as well, like everywhere, is because that's what I care about. So if I see that and I can validate that that's the true meaning behind that stamp. If I go to a dispensary, that's where I'm going first. Okay.
Honestly,
All the ones that
that's
have the
cool that you
stamp,
said
then I'll pick out what I want from that.
And I think that's what it's.
I
geared
never
to.
knew that. So I'm like, that's cool that you said that because I always go to LA too. And I'm like, I always wonder, I'm like, who are these like, who are the like small growers or like the small businesses that no one knows about that have that fire?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm always trying to find it. So now I know where to find it for sure.
Yeah, and they're
So
trying to
it's-
make that a worldwide or nationwide and worldwide. So
Yeah,
they
that's
are
dope.
working to get it with DC and to get that further. And
We
I
need
know
that
they were
over here.
working to try to get it here.
Yeah, we
'Cause
need that.
I was talking to Nina like 2 years ago about trying to get it here. So I know that's something they're working on, but it is hard to get the real traction behind it. So everybody, if that's something that you would like, let's get behind them and support them to have that happen. And
Oh, yeah.
let's get behind StrainDamage as well to support what they're doing because they're trying to help the local community as well. So if you, like I said, New Mexico say they care about that stuff. If you care about it, they're giving you a way to show it. And financially is a way to show it. Put your money where your mouth is because that's the only way these companies are going to be able to make it. You have to spend your money with them. Because if they don't,
That's one of the reasons me and DBG wanted to do Strain Wars as well, is because we wanted to go out there and be like, all right, everyone has bud, right? But who has the best bud for the best price?
Especially meeting all these cultivators, huh?
Yeah.
All these people that grow and they're like, oh, this is the best, this is the best. So it's like,
Let's
let's
see.
put them up.
Let's put it in a bracket.
It's like, because that dude over there across the street said his is the best, and you said yours is the best, so let's see who's the best on the block.
Yeah, and it's not like on no hate shit or anything. It's
No.
literally on some fact shit, like how it's presented in the bag, how it makes you feel, and how it feels when it breaks down,
Mm-hmm.
and then the overall effects of how you really think this bud should be rated based on what you just paid for the eighth.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but at the end of the day, it's all of it's going to be subjective. It's just like food.
Right.
To somebody, I've heard.
But you can
I've
tell
heard-
who takes care of it though. Like you
No,
know
no,
what I'm
no,
saying?
no,
Like,
no,
going
no.
back to
There
the
are,
vegan thing, you
there
know what
are,
I'm
yeah.
saying?
Now there
Like,
are things you can tell of, like if they put care and love behind it.
Yeah.
Yes, that. But as in, I'm just talking about like taste and feel. To you, is going to be all subjective, in a sense, because
Right.
like I said, I have a friend that we're at a conference and they treated us to like a 5-star restaurant. They got steak. I don't eat beef or pork, and I got some fish or something. I forgot. And they were like, "Oh, I don't like this steak." And it was like, it's at a 5-star restaurant. It's like the premium cut of steak. They're like, they like it, but they was like, I like the one at TGIF's. And so it's like, but it's subjective.
Yeah,
but you know
it
what I'm saying?
is, it
So
is.
who's to say that they're wrong? If that's how it's your taste buds, I can't tell you. you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I'm just saying it's like that. But I do agree with you 100%. There are certain things you can tell of, like you said, the quality of it, the care of it.
And that's
Those
what we're
things
looking
are-
for. That's
yeah,
all we're looking
yeah.
for. Is like
That's
if
how
you
you
can
can-
grow it right, cure it
I
right.
feel like the subjective thing is 100% right, but that's kind of like more or less we're aiming for like the connoisseur, like taste
So we're
buds.
jumping
Yeah.
into that.
So it's
subject.
like if you want to smoke the best of the best, you're gonna go with our opinion.
Yeah.
If not, I feel like otherwise, the only times that like it's really something that we don't like give a like genuine shot is when it's just like how you said, like you can't tell there's no love put into it. It's just like even on the cure you can tell it's rust, the trimming, it's dry, the
Yeah.
packaging, the bud's all smushed up. And I'm like, it's like dead giveaway. So it's like even one from one of the dispensaries, I'm not gonna throw them out there like that, but they threw us a gram that was like a year old. And I'm like, how you even have that on your shelf still?
Yeah.
Like,
the
sir,
thing that
this isn't
appall-
even CCD
The
compliant.
thing that appalls me is like I'm going in here and I'm asking these bud tenders like, what do you recommend? And that's what Brody had recommended to me. So it's like,
Yeah,
that's
that's
crazy.
Yeah. Well, the reason why they recommend it to you is because they're instructed to get it off the shelves.
Yeah.
If they can recommend it to you and you buy it, it's off the shelf.
Year-old
So
OG.
it's,
They
again,
get a
that's why I
little
say it's
bonus.
about like what you guys were saying about. I'm not faulting. That's their business model, and that's fine. I'm not here to judge anybody's.
But then it
business
doesn't
model.
cater to the medicinal
But
side of it.
that's my point is
That's
if your
literally-
intention is to really care about the customers, you wouldn't do that to the customer.
Literally.
You if anything, and you still want to get it off, and you want to do it for my business. Put it this way, I would have gave you a real recommendation of something that was fresh, right out, like in the proper cure time. Da 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 da. This is the recommendation. Now, if you're looking for something that's going to be price value, we have this, but
That's
I'm going
why
to
I
give
like
all the
see-
front up to you. I'm going to be like, hey, bro, this is a year old. We have kept it in the properly cured, but again, bro, it's a year old. If you want it, you have all the information. now as a consumer, you can make an informed decision if you want it, because there are people that will say they still want it. I don't get it, but it's, you know,
It's all about the data.
it's
I feel
about
like
yeah,
even how
give
you
them an
broke it
informed
down-
decision and let them make their own minds.
How you
I'm
broke
not here
it
to
down
judge you.
though, it's like once you purchase that and then it's something you don't like, I feel like you feel a lot more comfortable though, because you had that like in front of you. It's like, hey, this is what you're getting. You know what I mean? But it's like when someone just like tell you that it's the best of the best. and
Yeah,
it's
lie
the-
to you.
Mhm.
It's
The
lying
best
to
in the
you.
building.
That's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the
Bro,
intention.
It's this
the,
one.
the thing that really appalls me too is like he was like, here's an extra gram just on the house, and I was like hyped about it. The flour in the container that was free was literally like, it looked like someone like had put it in a vaporizer and sucked out all the like, it was like totally different color and everything.
Than
The
the other
same
ones.
tree. The other one was perfect, like white, crystally. It looked alright. And that one was straight brown. Like it smelled like hay.
Yeah, it's
We
probably
tried to smoke. We tried to smoke the other one because that one we just had to dispose of it. We couldn't even use it. We tried to smoke it, and I'm like, for somebody that's really trying to medicate, this isn't. And it's for $12 a gram. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's
that's-
insane.
Yeah.
P37 prices.
Yeah, that's
But P37 has
But
good medicine.
P37 has fire.
Yeah.
But like, don't you have a zip in your little jar for like $100 or something?
Mhm.
You have
Less
some
than
fire.
$100.
That's what I'm saying. See that's.
But yeah, but again, to me, it goes back to the actual values of the company, and if you're living true to that, again, so it's about your approach, and that's why I say like the way that you guys are approaching, especially that partnership, and expanding that partnership out. If you go with those intentions, I think you guys will be very successful, because again,
Thanks.
but I'm being honest with you, and I always be honest with people. It's going to be based off of that ability to garner trust on both sides, from you with the customers, based off of of that stamp or that sticker, whatever, that logo putting on there, because if it one time is off,
Mhm.
we know how it goes. Like you can't it's going because. And that's the downside to
Like, your
being a
stamp
small
gotta be
business,
official for
because we'll give Walmart, we'll give Amazon, we'll give all these large companies several times to fuck up, and they have the money not to fuck up.
Mhm.
But they won't give small businesses even one. You know, is rare that they'll give us a small chance. You know,
Yeah.
that chance. So that's all I was.
And I feel like we've been pretty consistent.
You know what I'm
on
saying?
that.
That's
Like bringing
I don't think I'm
like the
you know,
episodes weekly and like the content throughout the weeks when we're waiting for the podcast to drop on a
Yeah.
Sunday. Say, I think
For
we do.
sure.
I think we do pretty
That's
good
awesome, though.
catering to to our fan base. And
That's awesome.
It's only gonna get better.
Yeah.
Even
too.
like that like step though, I feel like that's what I really like. We all expressed with each other too, because I'm like, there's even some flour where I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to the fans and be like, oh, this is gas. Like you could tell, like there was even one episode, I think it was with Bee Trees, and I was like, this is actually the first time that I've like really liked the flour on here, and I was like, I'm not trying to be shady to anybody else that we had on, but this is like something I would really go out of my way to get. You know what I mean? And I would keep going back to get it.
He did go back to get a quarter.
That's what. But that's why I'm like, it's something
shout out
where like,
Beatrice.
Awesome. That's awesome.
especially like just from a consumer mindset too. It's like a lot of people like a lot of things come into consideration, like price point, quality, but it's like we want it to be like where you're getting quality for like a good price, reasonable price.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
We're
literally
trying
it
to
makes
find the
sense.
most reasonable. You
'Cause
know
that's
what
what
I
I'm
mean?
saying. When you paying like $26 for 2 grams, you expect that to be like top notch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
There
it's
should be a system, and I know there was a guy in Seattle that was trying to create like a connoisseur,
Pricing index.
not just a pricing index, but to make it so like also where it was a service where you go through this class, you get a certification, you become a connoisseur, then you can go in and literally
Oh,
like
okay. So like a sommelier's
class.
class. Okay.
Similar,
Oh, that'd be
very
cool.
similar. It
Okay.
was based off of that. But I do think the cannabis industry needs something like that. That
And is it like a certain license you get or something, or like
he was trying to
certificate?
create that, but I don't think it expanded further than I believe at the time was like Oregon and Colorado, and it didn't
Okay.
really expand out in Colorado. I think.
Yeah, this type of education, some places will give to bud tenders. So we had a bud tender from Enchanted Botanicals on the show, a guy by the name of Thomas. You should go see him. Shout out Thomas at Enchanted Botanicals. But he talked about his first bud tender job at Pure Life, where his manager effectively had him learn all of the terpenes and is like, and then gave him a quiz afterwards and is like, I will not let you sell a single nug until you understand this
not to
information.
knock that in any way, but you worked at 2 different dispensaries. Do they do that everywhere?
Only at
That's what I was about to say. I don't
at the
think
one
they
that I'm
do.
working at now. The
I
one that I'm
don't-
working at now.
I don't think they
definitely
do that everywhere
Yeah.
for real. 'Cause
No,
like I
it's-
said,
yeah, they
remember I'll
don't.
go in there and I'll be like, I want something strong, gassy, like an indica, and they'll be like, we got this Blue Dream. And I'm like, bro, you
That
just.
is not.
None of those things at all.
That's what I
That's exactly how it is based every time.
I'm like,
Yeah.
it make me want to leave, bro. Like, I ain't gonna
Unless
lie
it's
to
not
you.
real Blue Dream, like
He can't
it
even
has to be
smoke
one or
real
the
Blue
other.
Dream anymore. He's so
It's a blue
traumatized.
nightmare.
But that's crazy. But I do think that some sort of standard across the board should be at least developed and maintained.
And we're not saying we're like the most connoisseur
No,
people
no,
in the
no.
world, but like
We're still learning.
we've smoked enough weed to know what's really good weed, mid really good weed, and like stuff that like we don't like. You know what I mean? I'm
And
not gonna call
We
it. I'm
really
not gonna
going
call
for like that like I said, like the ones that are like claiming this is the best.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh, this is the best bang for your buck, $50 an eighth. It's like, all right, I'm gonna pay the $50 an eighth, but this better be like a $50 eighth. You know what
like
I mean?
from
I don't.
2000, like 2001. You know what
Bro,
I mean? Like
we had got-
it better hit me
We
like
had got some
2001.
stuff for like $30 for 2 grams, and it was seeded, and like, oh, I'm like,
Yeah.
not it.
The
Cause you
fact that
remember
you
that.
didn't catch it through the process is not.
Yeah.
But that's about quality control
Mm-hmm.
on again. To me, from a business perspective, I have no issue with any business selling any. If you want to sell mids, sell mids. Just be upfront about it
Yeah.
Literally.
and be
Tear
upfront
it.
about the price.
Tear
about
it
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
As long as if you do that, like I said, because I'm never gonna get it, but somebody will, and as long as that, all I'm about is informing, especially if you're gonna claim medical, and I think we should be approaching how we grow, all of it as medical. You can sell it as rec, but it should be grown as if you were growing medical. That's my opinion. That's how I approach it.
Yeah. Don't rush
but-
it. Don't bring it to the market quicker just to
Yeah.
make a quicker buck.
No, just
Like let it ride out. Like cure it right. Care for it, and you'll definitely see it.
and then
improving.
if I'm testing some seeds right now, I'm testing some plants right now, and I finish them and I don't like it. I'm gonna be real with you, but
Yeah.
I know I can grow. But it just sometimes it's genetics, sometimes it's how you grow, sometimes it's a combination of both. But
Or the name just sounds interesting at first. You're like, oh, I gotta grow.
Yeah,
that.
I'm
And
gonna
then you're
try
like,
it, and
oh,
then-
no.
or because I'm breeding, I'm trying a couple of different things, and it didn't shoot. That's what happens when you know it and you go through it all the way to the end. And it's like, okay, well, but I know people that still say they want it.
That's why you gotta be honest. you
But
know
like I
what
said,
mean?
just be informed. Be like, hey, bro, I don't like it, but hey,
But it's $80 a zip. You want it? Cool. You know what I mean? But however, I have this $500
yeah,
that's like,
this I know.
you know what I mean?
The price will never change because
exactly.
I know how good this is
Mhm.
here.
Exactly.
But yeah, I just feel like you should inform the people. That's the main thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like I said, I think that's really important that you guys are doing that and really about it. And your intentions are true. I think that's important. Another dispensary that you should check out is Rolling Love. We did an interview with them.
I like their name.
Yeah, Rolling Love, shout out. We'll be there soon.
Yeah, we can remind me. I'll shoot you. I'll do an introduction to you guys.
Okay.
Between you guys, make the connection. Just give them some more love. They need. Everybody in this space needs as much.
Rolled Love is
Yeah.
the
Hey,
Exactly.
everybody out there too. I want y'all to let us know what dispensaries you want us to go pull up to too. So if there's something you've been wanting to try and you're like, hey, they said they got the best, so we want to test it. We'll go test it for you. You know what I mean? Go make them put their money where their mouth is.
No,
And
definitely.
we'll test anything, not just flower. We've been doing strain wars. We're about to start doing rosin report. We'll test the concentrates out. I'll even do a little BHO, although not on but not on solventless Sundays. We got to keep that holy.
Solventless Sundays. is
Okay, solventless Sundays.
Yeah.
I'm solventless always.
No, me too. But like that's the leniency I will grant.
I got you. No, I got you.
And we do a bunch of cool stuff, like the edibles challenges are fun, the brain on buds.
This is your brain on
I could
buds.
smoke his rosin. Honestly, now that I was just thinking about that.
Yeah.
Even to be like, oh, I swear.
You
everything's
can't. No,
so
you can't
harsh.
do it when you go to that.
Everything's so harsh once you go to like just solventless.
But we're trying to do This Is Your Brain on Buds, which is the Japanese game show of Cannabis TV. For
Gotcha.
those of you who don't understand what Japanese game show means, it's typically that game shows in Japan, they do silly things on camera, outrageous challenges for outrageous prizes. And
Ridiculousness.
We've
Yes,
taken
yes.
the same challenge between eating the 1,000 milligram big ass cookies from Valerie in one
Yes,
sitting.
been on the show. Big ass
Shout out
cookies.
Big Ass
Shout out
Cookies.
Ontario
Shout out
Lane.
Big ass
Yes.
cookies.
Bro, this fool almost threw up because they were trying to eat it as fast as they could.
Yeah, your
And you
body
see 'em?
doesn't want to. Is
No,
your biggest
bo-
nerve.
your body is
going,
not
whoa.
made to eat
The whole week,
one of
yeah.
That's-
The whole week after that, every time I ate, it turned it into an edible high all over again because the butter and cookie was still sitting in my
dude.
gut.
I'm
So
like,
like,
15
so I'm
minutes,
like-
you just see him drop
Yeah.
the cookie. I'm done.
I'm like eating chicken the next day, and I'm like, oh, I'm high again, and I was like, fuck, it's that fucking cookie. You know what I mean? So like,
Finding some fat to attach to.
I
Yeah.
trained like the Japanese guy in the hot dog eating contest for this shit though.
Kobayashi?
Bro, he was steady. Like him and Midnight Toker, they went fast, and I thought he was gonna lose, but he was just like steady, the same pace the whole time. Just
Consistency.
No, when you gave me that
Just
second
wants
glass
that-
of milk, it was done.
I'm like,
I
go,
was like-
go.
So no, that's dope. So that's definitely some things that you guys can check out in the future for StrainDamage worldwide. Before we get out of here, I always ask my guests 2 questions, and those 2 questions are: one is first is if you had to pick a flower, what would that strain or a cultivar? What would that cultivar be, and what would the effect be? And I'll let you guys think on that, and I'll say which one I'm gonna be. For today, I'm gonna go to a classic, cherry pie, which is the precursor to Girl Scout cookies and almost anything you get from cookies. The precursor to almost everything in that line is cherry pie. So I remember growing, I had a cut of cherry pie from one of my partners that lived in San Jose, where, cookies was started. And I grew it for 2 years. I grew up with him outdoors. That shit was a beast outdoors growing. No lie. It grew very big, very large, very stacked, very chunky, which is, to me, interesting. And when you look at cookies lineage now, that the buds tend to be smaller, and I think that's a result of hybridization. But anyways, but I just remember that outdoor one that I did with them. That shit was massive.
She took off.
But I really like that strain, and that's kind of what I'm feeling is I'm feeling back in the days of the cherry pie when I was growing it. So.
Back in the day. when I was young.
I'm sorry. The effect that I got with it was a more relaxed, chill vibe, but had some indica to it, but not really heavy.
No, you're good. So basically, we pick a strain like how we're feeling today.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, cool.
A strain and the effect that correlates with it as why if you're feeling it today.
Yeah, so I'm feeling like some ocean water right now. You know what I mean? Cool, calm, talkative, flowing with the conversation. Real OG blueberry terps is kind of how I like to keep my aura feeling like, for sure.
Dope.
It's the only sativa dominant or sativa dominant hybrid that doesn't put him to sleep or cause him to crash out. And it also has him wilding out on the internet. So
Okay.
stay tuned later tonight.
So yeah,
We already know what Raj is gonna be.
No, you know what? No, because like you guys like are zooming. I'm gonna say Oreos.
Yeah.
Shout out to Third Coast Genetics for creating the
Supreme
best
Oreos.
strain ever. Shout out
Supreme
P37
Oreos.
for crossing it with Gary Payton. but we're not going to talk about that today because I talk about it too much and these guys are sick of it. Since I'm wearing the Enchanted Botanicals shirt, I'm going to talk about Durban Poison.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So,
Okay, that is a good one.
you know, it's high in THCV, right? And the effect for me is like liquid jet fuel. Like I take it, I smoke up, and then go on the computer. Boo, 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 boo. I have a background in tech, so designing and coding software, that's the type of weed I would use before I sit in front of a computer for a few hours. Just kind of boo, 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 boo. And that's what a lot of this morning was. So, yeah, that's what I'm going with.
Bet. And I believe there's a strain called jet fuel that was part of his lineage is Durban Poison.
Oh, damn. That would make sense.
What about you, D?
And you know, I always gotta keep it G. I'm a rock with the OG, cause I feel like I'm feeling real like laid back today. Just want to chill on the couch, play Madden, and just like keep my feet up.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Keep something cold to drink by me. I just want to chill today. Be stuck in the couch pretty much.
Bet. And so the second question that we ask all our guests is, what does free the plant, free the people mean to you? And it's just open to whatever interpretation you take it as.
Do you start first on that one?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
I usually, I've said it on my first
Oh,
one.
okay.
But I can go if you need time.
No, free the plant, free the people. That's pretty much, I think that's where all the cannabis community is heading right now, is like if we can just get this freed from schedulization, freed from all the seizuring that's going on the border in New Mexico. If we could get all that freed up, then we could definitely free the people into doing and exploring more things within other communities, so we don't have to worry about this one as being like the, you know what I mean, like the problem child, I guess you could say.
Gotcha.
It's interesting that I guess when I hear it, right, so free the plant comes before free the people. But the way I'm thinking about it, you know, what if that is top down instead, and it makes more sense to free the people, and then the plant will be free. I mean, maybe that's the way to think about it. But yeah, I mean that like Anthony said, that's where the cannabis community is headed with all of these various things. Freeing the plant does allow people to be free, economic opportunities to explore the plant in multiple different forms, to base their life's work around the plant and become free, I guess.
Just straight up free the plant and free the people from that stigma and that like stereotype that marijuana is a drug. It's definitely a medicine, and I feel like it just needs to be free from that little stereotype and that.
Yeah.
That
Get rid of the
sure.
stigma surrounding cannabis and human productivity. That is our company ethos.
Yeah. The reason why I put free the plant first is because legalization started before they started expungement of people in jail for it. So there were still people in jail while people were
Not
profiting
truly
off of
free.
When they should have
Yeah.
did this, they should have
Okay.
did the opposite, right?
So
Yeah.
I agree with what you were saying, but they didn't do that. So that's why we
insane.
put that
No,
first,
okay.
is because, and it seems like in every state, that's how people get expunged, is by the legalization of the cannabis, and then they reverse engineer and say, we'll now let them out. But it's so that's what the meaning for me means is, if we continue to free this plant worldwide in spaces, get rid of those stigmas that you're talking about, the people that are getting damaged by the stigmas won't be there, because everybody will have a deeper understanding of the plant itself and what it can provide for us. But that's I do appreciate all your your takes on it, and we appreciate that. And out there, you guys let us know what you think free the plant, free the people means to you, and what strain or what cultivar you're feeling today and why. I want to say thank you again to StrainDamage. Let us know, let everybody know how to reach out to you if you're a cannabis business and you want to do marketing, or they want to be on the show. How can they reach out to you guys?
So you can get at us on Instagram. We have our main company page at strain_damage_worldwide. We have our media page that also shows a lot of the music videos and stuff in the entertainment industry we're doing, called StrainDamage NM. And we also have the main page for the podcast where you'll see a lot of clips of the full-length episodes. StrainDamage Podcast, all one word. On YouTube, we're at youtube.com/@StrainDamage. You can now search StrainDamage, and we will probably be one of the first search results if you are in the state of New Mexico.
And we
SEO.
finally rock in on TikTok too, so make sure you guys go tap in
what's the
with us.
TikTok handle?
It's StrainDamage NM.
Strain.
And also, we're at 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We're going to be giving away a huge ass stash box. So shout out ABQ Stash Box and all the guests that we've had on the StrainDamage podcast. We're going to put a nice little box together for the 1,000 subscribers. So
A little
keep an eye
bit
for
of
that.
the StrainDamage approved stuff. And if you want to contact us regarding any video or media advertising, social media content creation work, you can reach us at info@straindamage.com or
505-356-9092 and ask for Vile.
that's it.
That's what's up. So, again, I want to say thank you to everybody for listening to another episode of Free the Plant, Free the People, presented by BluRok Farms. And I want to give a special thanks to our guests, StrainDamage Worldwide. Check
Huge
them
shout
out.
out to you, brother. Appreciate
yeah,
you.
shout out to
Appreciate
you
that.
for
Man.
having us,
Appreciate
man.
that. Yeah, no problem. Definitely check their podcast out. Definitely, if you're interested in marketing, advertising, or just getting their sticker on your stuff. Again, it got to be good though.
good.
You know, if you want, at least if you want to inquire about that and see about the possibility of that, definitely hit them up. Definitely reach out to them. You know, our community is about giving back to the community. So, you know, if you say you're really about that, then we're giving you options to be about that. So just walk the walk and talk the talk. And again, as we say here at Free the Plant, Free the People, live, love, and we out.
We out.
We out.
Peace.
StrainDamage Worldwide.